So this is the near side front indicator, the old, is it 21 watt I think it is, bulb. So replacing it with this LED version, which has 6 LEDs around the edge and goodness knows how many around, there's like 9 around the front. I put some Vaseline petroleum jelly on the cap because I find it works really well on electrical connections, just to stop them corroding. So that looks okay in there. Pretty much the same deal on the back here, just replace the indicators with the LED lights, so that's fine. I did find that on these rear lights, which are similar to, remember the Austin A40 used to have similar lights to these I think, and a few other cars I'm sure, but it's a plastic cover which, or plastic lens, which just is a bayonet fit onto this mounting. Trouble is the washers that were originally here have long perished a long time ago, so I did have some dodgy sort of gaskets that I'd made up some years ago, but I've just made some new ones. This is just a bit of, I think it's neoprene closed cell foam, so it's quite resilient. I've just cut it out with a pair of scissors from an old sheet that I got in some packing material I think, but it's about 4.5mm thick, which seems to be just about enough. So this now is a bit stiff, but it just turns and falls into that location there as it should, so that looks to be okay. Same on the brake light, I've replaced the washer on that one as well, so that should be all good. Slightly crazed actually looking at it here, but such is life. So here's the original flash unit. It is actually Lucas, I believe. Difficult to read, but yes it is. So I suspect this is the original one, but it still works fine. The only trouble with these of course is that they rely on the current draw through the bulbs. There's a little bimetallic strip inside, and the strip heats up and cools down and heats up and cools down, and so it needs to have the right resistance load on it to flash at the right rate. So it doesn't work with LED bulbs. So I've taken that out and replaced it with this electronic version. At the moment, with this new flasher, the pinout isn't the same. So I'm currently only using 2 of the connections, which is the 12 volt in and the 12 volt out to the indicator switch. So one comes straight off the ignition switch, basically the switched power, and the other say goes out to the indicator switch. The 3rd pin on here is for the warning lamps, which I need to work out. There's 2 ways I can do that, but I'll work that out later. It only seems to work at the moment, so that's fine. Okay, so this is the wiring diagram for the standard SP250, and this is the area that we're worried about for the flashers. So the feed comes in from the ignition switch initially, one of these green wires from the ignition switch, 12 volts, and onto the flasher unit. From the flasher unit it goes through the switch, left or right, and through to the 2 bulbs, front and rear, and also puts 12 volts on the warning lights. So there are 2 warning lights on the dash, one for left, one for right. And at the moment they're connected together up here and come back round to the flasher unit, which isn't going to work with the new electronic flasher unit. So my plan is to put the electronic one in here, the B and L terminals on here, the live 12 volt positive feed and the 12 volt positive downstream, that'll work fine. But I'll come back to this third pin. What I'm going to do for the warning lights is have them basically just connected straight to earth. So I'll disconnect this wire back to the flash here and simply take this double connector and connect it straight to earth. That way the warning lights will just illuminate when the flasher switch is turned to their side. So they'll just flash in sympathy with the front and rear indicators as they should. So that's fine for that. The other thing I have on my car is a buzzer, which is non-standard, just a little electronic buzzer. My flasher switch doesn't self-cancel because I fitted a steering rack and have lost the original self-cancelling switch on the steering column. So what I've done is, years ago now, is put a little, say, electronic buzzer. And at the moment, I think that buzzer's connected to here and to earth. So what I will do is to take this wire from the new electronic flasher, the flasher warning terminal, and feed that round, stick the buzzer effectively in here. So I'll take a feed from the flasher, the new electronic flasher, and then put the other end to earth. I think that should do it. That way the buzzer will buzz whichever direction we're trying to turn, whereas the warning lights will only come on for their respective sides, left and right. Oh, that makes sense. The only other important thing to point out is, again, on my car some years ago now, I converted it to negative earth, and the only way this particular flasher unit is going to work, and the way all the bulbs are going to work, the LED bulbs, is because I've got negative earth already. And if you had a positive earth car, you'd either need to get different bulbs and probably a different flasher unit than the one I've got, or convert the car to negative earth before you start. It's not difficult to convert it to negative earth, so I forget exactly how I did it last time. I say it's probably about 20 years ago now. But I think it's only involved flashing the dynamo. I've still got the dynamo, the original dynamo on my car. Flashing that, the opposite polarity, so that the residual magnetism in the dynamo is reversed, and obviously turn the battery around as well. And I can't think what else I needed to do. I think that was about it basically. Once you've flashed the dynamo, when it starts turning, it will automatically build up the polarity in the opposite direction. And if the battery's already turned around, then that'll just start charging the battery back to front, in effect, or the right way around, if you see what I mean. Okay, let's see how we go on from here. Okay, well, that seems to be flashing okay. What I wanted to do is I put the trim back on. I got these trims from David Beals in Leeds, and they're actually stainless steel, and they're sort of food grade stainless steel, which is pretty amazing really. They're quite heavy and quite thick, but I think he had them cast, say, many years ago now. It's got to be 30 years ago. I don't know whether he still does them, but that just screws onto here, which will be fine. Put the screws back in, obviously, no problem. Okay, so the direction indicators, the warning lights for the direction indicators, they don't work currently because of the way the original is wired up, and the pinout on the new flasher unit, the electronic one, is different to the original. So what I'm going to do is, if I've already disconnected this, this is the wire that comes from the third pin on the original flasher unit, and these are the two leads that go to the two flasher indicators on the dash. So I'm going to put both of these into a new connector, a new double connector, and then connect that to simply to earth. So both the warning lights will get power straight off the flasher switch, and then the other side of the bulb is connected to earth, so they'll flash correctly. So that fixes the issue with the electronic flasher unit being slightly different to the original. The other thing that I have got on this car, because my flashers don't self-cancel, I've got a small electronic buzzer. See that up here, which is wired in. There's actually a switch so you can disable it, and that needs to work when either flasher is turned on. So I'm thinking I will connect that to the third pin on the electronic flasher unit, the other side to earth, and I think that will get that working again, but I'll work that out once I've got the warning lights working correctly. Okay, so I've made up a short lead, roughly the right colour. I just found a green piece of wire, stuck a terminal on that end, a bit of heat shrink, which I'm going to pick up on the screw that holds the instruments in, and this end obviously will just go on the other end of this connector. So hopefully that will get the warning lights working. Okay, that's connected up. Okay, let's see if it works. Turn the ignition on. There you go, that's the right hand indicators. Left hand, yay. Good, so that's working. Just a matter now of sorting out that buzzer. So the buzzer's quite useful. So with no self-cancelling indicators on this car, it's actually useful to have the buzzer going. You know, you've got the ignition on. So I'll try and fix that. Okay. The buzzer is now connected as well. See if it works. Yay! So the buzzer is connected to the third pin on the electronic flasher unit, and yep, that works on both directions. Good. So I think I'm done. All the indicators are now LED, and the new electronic flasher unit is connected up and works fine. Excellent. Okay, thanks for watching.